the first office to face them saw its workforce slashed by 75%. So the IRS went on a hiring spree after Biden came in and Congress jammed through under the Democrats $80 billion to increase it by 100,000 employees. Land of the free, baby. Trump is expected to slash as many as 20,000 jobs from the agency. Yeah, they're not disclosing it. Unlawfully disclosing tax data carries civil and criminal penalties. They're not publishing it on the internet, dummies. The IRS gets a RIF, a reduction in force notice. A bunch of IRS people are going to get afuera right out of the agency. Here's the report over from Government Executive telling us that the IRS is sending RIF notices. It's beginning widespread layoffs. Now, the full timeline and the scope of the cuts are unclear, but the first office to face them saw its workforce slashed by 75%. The IRS began issuing layoff notices to employees on Friday in what is expected to be a sweeping reduction of the agency's more than 90,000 employees. IRS Office of Civil Rights and Compliance will be the first office to get afuera out of here. The agency's Human Resources Office said in an email sent to all staff on Friday that the office is set to lose 75% of its workforce through a RIF. I'm about to do a backflip. And the remaining staff does not separate by voluntary attrition will be absorbed in the Office of Chief Counsel to carry out its statutory responsibilities. Now, that's really for one office, right? But I like the trend. Now, the IRS made clear the Civil Rights Office was only the first that will be affected. The IRS has begun implementing a RIF, a reduction in force, that will result in staffing cuts across multiple offices and job categories, the agency said in an email obtained by Government Executive, saying, "This action is being taken to increase the efficiency and the effectiveness of the IRS in accordance with agency priorities and Trump's executive orders calling for workforce reductions." And we were contemplating this, I think, in the after party after the show yesterday about Trump really can't say it, but if he can come out after these tariffs start delivering revenue, after the new unleashing of American energy starts to generate new revenue, then you get rid of the income tax and you're already slowly paring down the IRS in order to deliver that promise to the American people. And once you deliver that promise to the American people and say, you're not paying income tax anymore, we're not collecting it, give them 1 year, give them 2 years of that, then any other politician who tries to come back and shove that back down our gullets again is going to be looked at with a lot of scorn, right? When a government gives you a benefit, it's very difficult for them to take it away. So Trump can come in and use that same strategy. I'm going to give you this gift of no more income tax. We've solved the math equations, okay? Tariffs got it covered here, oil covered here, we got AI covering over here, we got automation, we got all the things, our country's fine. We don't need income tax anymore. Enjoy your lives, America. Could you imagine? Yeah. So the IRS went on a hiring spree after Biden came in and Congress jammed through under the Democrats $80 billion to increase it by 100,000 employees. Land of the free, baby. Republicans have since clawed back some of that money, but Trump is expected to slash as many as 20,000 jobs from the agency. Now, the agency previously fired 7,000 newly hired and promoted employees on their probationary periods, though a court has for now ordered them reinstated. Yeah. The IRS last week fired 50 senior executives in IT, according to two sources. On his first day in office, Trump singled out the IRS as a lone agency that would have to continue hiring beyond his first 90 days. Now, the IRS told employees the layoffs will occur in phases, though it did not lay out any additional detail. Spokesman for the agency unable to provide additional detail said this message is only notification that the IRS has begun the RIF process and does not serve as your official notification. Each office will receive direct communication when their phase begins. Bunch of IRS agents having a rough weekend. So are the people preparing their taxes right now, too. Eligible IRS employees will receive early retirement and buyout incentives, with details forthcoming next week. Any reassignments or relocations are currently paused. Ooh. The Capitol Office directed employees to upload their current resume to an internal portal to determine qualifications during the RIF. That's outstanding. We don't even know who you are, so can you give us your resume, please? We want to see if it's any good. Like, I've been here for 15 years. Yeah, that's the point. We know. Send us your resume. We remain committed to sharing information as soon as it becomes available and ensuring that all employees have access to resources and support. Thank you for your professionalism and more. Now, Danny Werfel, a Biden appointee, stepped down as the IRS commissioner in January, despite having more years on his term. Get out. Trump tapped former Rev Rep. Billy Long to lead the agency, though he still is awaiting Senate confirmation. The administration has sought to use the IRS now to determine whether undocumented immigrants were accessing federal benefits, right? The IRS is going to be another mother load. Oh my goodness, it's going to be epic. And here, the Washington Post is freaked out about it, saying Homeland officials are now going into IRS to use tax data to locate 7 million immigrants, they say. We're going to say probably illegal. Let's see what the story says. Yeah, 7 million people. Yeah, of course. Why don't they put that in the headline, right? They put it in the first sentence, but not the headline. They're seeking information to locate 7 million people, 7 million who are suspected of being in the United States unlawfully by accessing confidential tax data at the IRS. Confidential from whom? The IRS is the government. It's the government that is going to look at it. So it's like, no, it's confidential. It's the government. A dramatic escalation in how the Trump administration aims to use the tax system to detain and deport immigrants. Illegals. Illegals. You even wrote it. Unlawfully in the country. Suspected of being in the United States unlawfully, okay? Officials from Homeland had previously sought the IRS's help to locate 700,000 people who were subject to final removal orders and asked the IRS to use closely guarded taxpayer data for data systems to provide their names and addresses. Now, the two agencies have still not reached an agreement on how much data or how IRS will share data. It's data of ongoing criminality in the United States. But immigration enforcement officials on Thursday increased the volume of their requests, according to people familiar with it, who spoke in the end. Man, there's a RIF happening right now, so you better provide this information or you're going to be at the top of the RIF. We're going to have to let you go. Saying Homeland officials initially said that they would send preliminary queries about 2 million taxpayers. And I wonder, right, what is the net? Is it a net? Are they filing? Are they getting tax receipts? What is the total net on that tax? And eventually seek help locating 7 million individuals. It's like, there's 7 million who filed paperwork with our government who are here illegally? 7 million people who are in our country unlawfully filed paperwork with our federal government? What? IRS officials were aghast. You can't have their records. According to people familiar with the discussion and lawyers, acting IRS Commissioner Melanie Cruz has told subordinates she expects the agency to ultimately comply with the Trump administration's aim of using the IRS systems to help in immigration enforcement. Yeah, it's the government. While we have nothing to share regarding the potential discussions, Treasury is fully committed to supporting our partners and the America First agenda. Yes, representatives from Homeland, because you can use your tax returns and all these things to go do certain things, and you're getting loans and you're getting all this stuff. Normally, personal tax information, even an individual's name and address, is considered confidential and closely guarded within the IRS. Yeah, they're not disclosing it. Unlawfully disclosing tax data carries civil and criminal penalties. They're not publishing it on the internet, dummies. But that information, yeah, can be shared with law enforcement under limited circumstances, usually with permission from a court, to build a criminal investigation. Okay. So it would be highly unusual, perhaps illegal, the people said, whatever. What people? To use tax data to enact criminal penalties. They're not using the tax data to enact the criminal penalties. They're using the tax data to identify lawbreakers, and they're using independent law to go determine that they're breaking the law. And if they are, then based on that law, they'll enact penalties. IRS executives told Homeland officials that their request likely violates the narrow criminal investigation exemptions, whatever. Okay, we'll see. They'll sue. If approved, the agreement would represent a significant shift in how federal agencies manage taxpayer information and immigration. The IRS for years has reassured undocumented workers that their tax information is confidential. No. You can interface with the United States government, which is wild. You can interface with our government and you're going to be totally protected, even though you're in an illegal, unlawful status. It's safe to file income tax returns. You're not going to be deported. Just get on record with us. Undocumented immigrants, they say, pay tens of billions in federal taxes each year. And how much do they cost? How much do they cost? Undocumented workers' wages are subject to the same tax withholding and blah. Many immigrants file tax returns and save them in hopes of that a record of paying taxes. Well, we want to do it so that we can be legal. Well, just go through the legal mechanisms then. On its website, the IRS says undocumented immigrants are subject to U.S. taxes in spite of their illegal status. That's, well, yeah. I mean, what, you want to invite them in, give them hotels, and then make them tax exempt too? The IRS has already rejected previous requests to share information. And so it's getting hot, and you can see they're just shocked. Why would our own government set up facilities that basically make it easier for unlawful people to interface with the country in a more accessible manner when they're in literal illegal status with the country? It's ridiculous. So it's about time that this is happening, and all those fired IRS agents can go cry about it somewhere else.